Again, I'm Steve Jones, and I have a distinguished panel of people who are assembled today to talk about regional best practices, models, initiatives between economic development and workforce development. And we've got a great panel that's been put together to help to bring this to light. One of those individuals is with me, sitting right in front of me, and that's Dr. Robert Gunter. He's Vice President for Technical Programs at Mid-South Community College, my home county over in Crittenden County. And they've got some really innovative things that we hope that Dr. Gunter will shed a little light on for us. Next we have Deborah Lyons, whom you see on the screen up there. She is Vice President of Community and Economic Development at ACT. Thank you for being with us, Deborah.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And next we have a dear friend of mine who also serves on the DRA board. He is the Chief of Staff and Deputy Commissioner for the Tennessee Economic and Community Development Commission, and that's Ted Townsend. Ted, you still with us?
Yes, I am, Steve.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, then here's what I'd like for you all to do. I'm going to ask each of the panelists, and just so you know, we've run a little bit long because we had one or two things onto the program today, but we thought that they were worthwhile enough to add on. We're going to have about 5 minutes apiece for each of you to just give some remarks on this topic from your vantage point that the audience might benefit from. And after that, with that, we'll leave a little time for the audience to ask some questions. So if you all can work with me around those parameters, I think we can still make this a very healthy discussion. So first off, Dr. Lyons, I'd like for you to go ahead and make your opening remarks.
Sure. I think what would be helpful is if Angela could transfer controls to me, because I have a couple slides to show. And then, Ted, I think you had slides to show too, correct?
That's correct.
Ted, I'm not sure. Are you okay with my just spending a few minutes first, or if you want to?
That'll be fine.
Okay. So, Angela, I'm just going to need to transfer control over to me so I can share my desktop.
Just click here.
Oh, okay.
And then assign, make presenter, Deborah Lyons.
Okay, I am the presenter. I'm going to share my desktop and let me get, hold on, next slide. Here we go. Can y'all see the slides that I have up now?
Yes.
I'm assuming you all can see my desktop?
We can see them.
Great. Well, I'm going to talk just for a few minutes about work-ready communities, and then I'm happy to answer whatever questions you may have. And just a little background for ACT, we are a not-for-profit public trust, and our mission is to help people achieve education and workplace success. We're best known for the college exam, but we do the WorkKey system. And I know there's a lot going on in the state of Arkansas. We do, in the WorkKey system, there's job analysis, assessment, curriculum, the certification and research and analytics. A lot of work-ready communities focuses on the ACT National Career Readiness Certificate. And so you can see a sample of that there. And just to share with you, we use this as a way of helping folks determine or establish or communicate that they have a skilled workforce. If you look at the data, it tells you how many people across the country have earned the different levels of the certificate. You'll see that 18% at gold and 21% at bronze, 48% at silver, and 1% at platinum. But if you look at the other data, based on job analysis, you see that only 16% of the jobs in the country are at a bronze certificate, whereas if you were at, or require a bronze certificate, whereas if 93% of those jobs require a gold certificate. So it kind of helps us begin to understand that we obviously need to get more people skilled at higher foundational skill levels And for those of you in the room that talk with business and industry, I would imagine this is a very common conversation you hear. We need a more skilled workforce, people that can think and solve problems. And that's a lot of what the National Readiness Certificate focuses on, and it's what we use in work-ready communities. We found that 82% of our businesses surveyed use it as part of their organizational selection, and nearly two-thirds of them say it reduces turnover, and 63% say it improves on-the-job productivity. I wanted to also share that it's eligible for college credit now. The American Council of Education has improved the National Career Readiness Certificate for college credit, and at the gold and platinum level, it applies for 3 hours in critical thinking. I also want to share that the National Career Readiness Certificate is used by Site Selection Magazine to determine the top 10 most competitive states. And it's interestingly enough, as we're rolling out and moving forward work-ready communities, it's not 9 or 10 of those states now are going to be engaged in work-ready communities, either at the local or at state level. So what are work-ready communities? It's a process where ACT brings together at either a state or a community level workforce professionals, educators, economic developers, employers with ACT in a partnership. And we work to build a process where counties can become certified by achieving certain goals. The common thread is people will earn a National Career Readiness Certificate, and employers are recognizing it. And that's what we call the common criteria to become a certified work-ready community. We have two different efforts around that. One is at a state level and one's at a county. And when we work with the counties, it really just is the common criteria that we focus on. This is what a county would look like in progress. Here's one of the South Carolina counties, Aiken, and they're at 86% of their goals. And if you look, you'll see we've set NCRC or National Career Readiness Certificate goals in each of the workforce categories, emerging, current, and transitioning. And then we actually benchmark that against actual certificates earned. At the very bottom, you look at their employer supporting goals, and you'll see Aiken has 41 out of 70 of the required employers supporting. Here's what a county looks like in maintaining. Jasper County, Missouri was certified, and they are now in the maintaining process. So you can see we have an opportunity for communities, once certified, to continue to grow and maintain their status in real-time data. So one of the things I wanted to just highlight before I close is connectivity. A recent survey of our first group of states to participate has shown that work-ready communities has helped them build a strong community approach to workforce development, and that they would recommend it to others. And that's what all that survey response means in the dark blue. But a lot of what you're seeing as our purpose and focus here is to connect workforce activities and partners together through a common framework and common goals. This is a map that gives you an idea to date of the states where we have states or local efforts, and there's 17. That will be moving to 20 in the very near future. We've just accepted some new folks on board for some additional states. And so I'm going to just conclude, hopefully, and stayed within my 5-minute timeline. There is the web address there if you want to go on and take a look. We publish data for all 50 states, all 3,141 counties every 30 days at ACT, including improved certificate data. So you can go there and see the work that we have going on in your regions and communities. So thanks so much, Steve. I'm going to turn this back over to you, and I'm happy to make Ted the present.
Yes.
I stopped sharing. So that may require someone else to give Ted the control there, I'm thinking.
Thank you, Deborah. We appreciate it, and thank you for your remarks and what you've shared. We're going to see if we can bring Ted back in. Ted, are you there?
And Ted, I just made you the presenter, okay?
Okay, great. Thanks so much. And yes, Steve, I am here.
Great. You have the floor, sir.
Great. going to verify that everyone can see the presentation.
It's good.
Is it up on the screen?
It is.
Okay,
We're
great.
looking at it.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have a webcam on my laptop, but you can't see my good looks there from the audience members, but I'll do the best I can to go through this information.
I've got a picture of you here. I'll pass it around.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm pleased to offer this information about what Governor Haslam is doing in the state of Tennessee with regard to workforce development. As we know, our main mission here at the department is to work with businesses on job expansion, creation, as well as recruitment of industry to the state. And the number one issue that they bring up time and time again is workforce development. So we have done analysis on what this means and where Tennessee needs to be going, and we feel that we've got some innovative initiatives that are underway based on Governor Haslam's leadership. The goal, if you will, is called Drive to 55, and the mission is to get our workforce ready for the next generation of advanced manufacturing and high technical jobs that are coming to Tennessee. So I'll give you a little perspective on where things have come from and where they're going. Back in 2009, the state commission policy needed to improve the completion rate. They identified this need among the states. And in 2010, the General Assembly, Complete College Act, which really got the wheels turning on. Governor Haslam and the General Assembly aligned the Hope Scholarships, which funded by our state lottery, with the Complete College Act. And in 2012, Governor Haslam called for a greater focus on workforce development, and he actually conducted meetings all across the state between higher education, industry, and our stakeholder partners. In 2012, he appointed a special advisor. In 2013, the fiscal year 2014 budget was fully funded with complete based on the funding formula. And in September of last year, the Drive to 55 initiative launched officially. And in February, the governor announced the Drive to 55 strategy to the General Assembly. So why are we driving to 55? Well, the fact is that 55% of Tennesseans will require some form of post-secondary education by the year 2025. And if we stay on our current trajectory, we will fall 16% shorter than where we need to be for the ages of 25 to 64. So to reach that 55% by 2025, we will need nearly 100,000 Tennesseans to have additional degrees or technical certificates to meet the demand that industry is providing to us. So we've got a number of different strategies. We're focused on getting students ready, getting them into the program, getting them into community colleges or colleges of applied technology. Most importantly, getting them out with as little debt as possible and getting them out on time. And finishing up the education that many adults in the state, as you can see from that number, 900,000 to 1 million, that started some form of post-secondary education but did not complete. So we're not losing sight on the adults as well. And really to focus on creating alignment and accountability at all levels of state government so that we can identify those skills gaps, work with industry, and most importantly, measure those investments to increase that value across the state. So this is a very busy slide, and I'm not going to go into all of these, but again, it's focusing on students, and we understand that it's very important for these students to have a mentor. And what's most is talking about the Tennessee Promise, which the governor announced, and that is that every senior in the state of Tennessee, upon graduation, will have access to a city college or a college of applied technology absolutely free for the first 2 years. So that is really a game changer. That is it's notable on the national landscape, and we're extremely proud of Tennessee taking that step to make affordable education available free of cost to our graduates. We also have something called the LEAP, which is legislation that was passed 2 years ago and funded this last year, essentially will provide $10 million for grant opportunities across the state for a collaborative, and we're actually mandating the collaboration to include K through 12, industry, economic development offices at the local level, and a higher education entity. So we're forcing them to work together on applying for these grants, and they can be up to $1 million covering a 24-month period that's focusing on either equipment or customized programmatic training that industry has said that they need, that's inherent to the skills that are there in that geographic region. So LEAP is exciting. That provides the enabling legislation and funding mechanism. So you've got the goal, you've got the path through LEAP, you've got the reconnect on the adult across the state, and we've got a great community college network of 27 colleges of applied technology as well. The primary goals really is important to note that we're changing the culture in our state. We know that not everyone is going to be eligible or want to attain a 4-year degree, but we have to show and articulate the importance of any kind of post-secondary education or certificates of training. So we're changing the culture, and I think we've got the mechanism in place to do that. But we also need to a larger pool of students and have better alignment with and degrees of completion, and ultimately getting that aligned with what the workforce needs are in the state. So we want to provide that opportunity to every high school student, as you can see there. It's really a last dollar scholarship if you think of it. The Hope Scholarship covers a lot of that, but you've got folks that aren't Hope Scholarship eligible. So what do those folks do? And instead of not having an opportunity to position themselves for a career and a high sustainable family wage, this allows them that access to community college. So how do we fund this? I mentioned the lottery earlier. The governor and the General Assembly in partnership created a new endowment that uses our lottery for education reserves in excess of $110 million. I will tell you that the lottery reserves is actually at one point larger than the state's rainy day fund. And that money was sitting there when we were looking at ways to use it and deploy it appropriately, and Promise is the right way to do that. So we will additionally add $47 million in endowment from the TSAC operating revenues that was created in 2013. And we'll annually sweep the lottery surplus fund to continue that revolving investment in the account. And we're looking to change the Hope Scholarship structure so we get to reduce the last dollar scholarship cost to the state. So I will make this note to all of you in the audience there. This is not a taxpayer-funded program. These reserves came from our lottery. So it's a really innovative way to look at repurposing these dollars so that we can build the next workforce for our state's economy. So that's pretty much all that I have, but thanks for the opportunity to share what Tennessee's doing across the river there.
Thank you, Ted. I got to tell you that when I was coming down the hallway a little bit earlier, there was a gentleman that said that he didn't want to leave because he couldn't wait to hear about your K through 14 initiative that you have going on over in Tennessee. I'm telling you, there are a lot of other states that are envious of you all for the move that you've taken to make sure that at least at that level your populace is educated. So thank you for taking time and sharing with us.
Well, Steve, it's my pleasure. And the governor has often said, and you hear K through 12, K through 13, K through 16, but he said this is all about K to J, and that's K to job. So, I've always used that line. I give him credit every time because it's a great line, K to J.
Yeah. What did I say, K through 12? I meant K through 14, if I didn't say that. But thank you. And Deborah, with what you're doing with the career readiness certificates and all of the other wonderful things at ACT, thank you for what you've shared. We've got with us another guest that's here with us, Dr. Robert Gunter, who's with Mid-South Community College. And Dr. Gunter, at this time, do you have a mic down there?
I do. Thank you.
Ask you if you will go ahead and share with the, just to tee it up. You've heard over and over again from speaker after speaker this morning who've referred to Mid-South Community College because of the things that are going on over there with ad tech and others, wonderful and innovative ideas at the college. And we're going to ask Dr. Gunner, if you will, at this time to share a little bit with us along.
I will. Thank you, and good afternoon. I kind of feel like that the two happiest days in a boat owner's life is the day he buys it and the day he sells it. I had a friend who was a presenter and told me that there's two times during the day you never want to present. That's right before lunch and right before everyone wants to go home. And here we sit. So you're either really interested in information or you're just gluttons for punishment. I don't know which. So I've got three things I want to tell you very quickly. I want to talk about the Ad Tech Consortium. I want to talk about the conversion charter situation we have going on between Mid-South Community College and West Memphis School District. And I want to talk about the Career Coach Program and the integral part it plays in this whole mix. So back in 2005 and 2006, Toyota had come through Marion, West Memphis, Arkansas, was courting us as far as being a site for Toyota plant to build the Highlander. We wined and dined them and showed them everything we had. We had a brand new, beautiful workforce technology center. We had everything that we thought we needed to be able to woo them in. They went to Blue Springs, Mississippi. They came back and said that you guys did not have the workforce that we needed or the capability of producing the workforce for us to be able to build those Toyota cars in your community. The funny thing is, within a month of them announcing going to Blue Springs, the dean of the technical division from Etowamba Community College called me and wanted to come by and see what our program looked like because that's all the Toyota people could talk about. So, we were the bridesmaid twice. So Dr. Glenn Finner, the president of Mid-South Community College, swore he would never, ever allow that to happen again. So we formed the Ad Tech Consortium through a wired grant. 5 community colleges in the northeast section of Arkansas in the Delta region. ANC, Blytheville, ASU Newport in Newport, Mid-South Community College, West Memphis, EACC in Forest City, and Phillips Community College in DeWitt and Stuttgart. We decided as a consortium that it would play better in our interest if we played together and collaborated than it would be to work against each other. So we invested money into developing interactive broadcasting systems, interactive video systems, so that we could offer classes from one campus and project it to the other campus, do those various things. The AdTech model is based upon one very simple process, and that is the career pathway model. The career pathway model starts with high school students and ends with the capability for students to earn a bachelor's degree. So all of us in the AdTech Consortium have a very strong secondary technical center. The secondary technical center generally brings in high school students onto our campus to earn concurrent credit in the 11th and 12th grade. All those credits are transcripted, stay with them, and are transferable to the next level certificate, technical certificate, or the associate degree. And with our partnership in our university center and the universities throughout Arkansas or throughout the nation that we brought in to house their programs on our campus, those credits articulate into those programs. So actually a student starting in the 11th grade is already in college working toward a bachelor's degree because all the credits they earn in 11th grade, in 12th grade, count toward that eventual bachelor's degree on our campus. All of our programs are selected based upon industry sector models, so we do not have programs that do not lead to jobs within our community. Of course, our community in West Memphis and Marion is an extended community that actually goes into the Memphis region. Besides being the students earning the concurrent credits, all of our programs are based upon industry certifications. And so we require all of our instructors to be industry certified. If they come to us not being industry certified but have work experience, we set up plans of actions to make sure that they are certified by a certain period of time. If they are not, we let them go, we hire somebody else. So that's the basic model for the AdTech model. It's worked very well. Since 2005 till today, Mid-South Community College and AdTech Community Group has been awarded close to $70 million in grant money to sustain and support programs, start new programs, develop new curriculum, whatever it is. So we've had the luxury of being able to do that. Now, this next thing I'm going to mention, I'll talk to you about, kind of think about all the things that have been said today. Now, my background is public schools. I taught 30 years or 11 years in Alabama, and I was an administrator for the rest of the time. I retired with 30 years in the state of Alabama, principal of a technical high school, career tech center director, various roles in Alabama. Worked for the University of Texas, El Paso, started a teacher alternative certification program for career technical teachers, and then landed at Mid-South Community College at the same time AdTech was being formed. So I have a public school background as well as a college background. So to expand the Secondary Technical Center, Dr. Fenner had been talking to the superintendent of the West Memphis School District for years about trying to put together some type of collaborative effort to make sure that the students graduating from West Memphis, Marion, Earl, and Turl all have equal opportunities to be successful in the workplace. We never could make any headway. Finally, with the transition of new administration at different schools, the new superintendent of the West Memphis School District partnered with Mid-South. Together we wrote a conversion charter grant to the state of Arkansas, which was awarded this past year, and it is the only conversion charter partnership that has a community college and a high school system partnered together in the state. The high school is going 100% career academy, wall-to-wall career academy, and Mid-South Community College is a prime contributor and partner with them in a number of those academy models for their programs of study. There's 3 academies in the West Memphis, academies of West Memphis. One of them primarily serves on the Mid-South campus, the ones that have more of the heavy technical programs. Because keep in mind, a lot of the things we talked about not having enough career technical programs across the state is because a lot of them are very expensive and a lot of high schools cannot support them. So the secondary technical center concept is a very vital one for us to expand across the state so that communities can have a secondary technical center and multiple high schools can share in the expense and cost of that program. So we're at the very tail end of enrolling students into this coming school year for our initial thrust into this Academies of West Memphis. And my enrollment in the Secondary Technical Center, which was around 200 last year, is close to 400 this year. So we more than doubled our enrollment. The other thing we did is we allowed 10th graders to come in. And believe me, when you're talking to a group of students and you're looking at their faces, you can tell a 10th grader from a 12th grader, which we couldn't tell 11th graders from 12th graders before, but you can tell a 10th grader because they really look young. But their parents are excited. Now here's the exciting thing. So I tell these parents in our orientations, I said, depending on what program your son or daughter's enrolled in, they have the opportunity to earn up to 36 college credits transcripted toward an associate degree that will cost you nothing. Will not cost you tuition, will not cost you books, will not cost you lab supplies, will not cost you anything because the state of Arkansas is paying for it. 36 credits transcripted toward an associate degree that a 10th grader now is starting Monday. And if that 10th grader and their parents are innovative enough and they pay some tuition money and take classes in the summer or at night, that child as a senior can graduate from college with an associate degree 2 weeks before they graduate from high school. It is humanly possible. The last thing I want to mention is the career coach program. Now, a lot of the poorer districts had career coaches, and then when the funding started to disappear, a lot of them pulled out because they did not want to pay for it themselves. West Memphis was one of those districts. They pulled out of it. But when we went back to the academy model, it was very important that we had career coaches back in because of the small learning community concept that we're working with. So we have 4 career coaches, 1 working with the other school districts and 3 working specifically with West Memphis School District. Each one of the coaches is assigned one of the career academies. Now this is a novel concept. we sat down and said, well, I've got a Perkins counselor, and I've got case managers for a number of grants that we have working, and all these people are dealing specifically with students. Why don't we make them meet together and talk together and communicate together? Why don't we have the career coaches, as they work with the junior high teachers who form the career portfolios that transform or transmit through the high school grades, trade off that career portfolio, that case management file, with the case managers of the college grant programs during the senior year as we move those senior high students into freshman students in college, so that there's no gap, so that those students have somebody who is looking out for their back the entire time. So we did that. We moved people around. We had a number of counselors that were duplicating program areas, and we shifted that around so every one of our program area now has a counselor covering it. So hopefully no student will be left out in the cold, that we can provide that transition from high school to college, college to bachelor's degree, carrying that student along, providing them the services they need to be successful, whether it's tutoring, whether it's filling FAFSA out, whether it's advising, whatever it is. We've got a system set up now to help hopefully work with that. And in conjunction with that, we had a career services department, and we had a B&I coordinator who didn't talk to one another, who were different parts of the college, who didn't communicate and didn't have any idea what one was doing from the other. Well, we shifted that around. Both of those positions now under my department. The career services is an internal position. The business engagement person is the external person, and they will communicate with one another and with me and with students in helping prepare students for jobs and in finding the jobs out in the community for the students, and working with the career counselors and the case managers so that everyone is informed of what the processes are for getting students trained for jobs in the future and finding those good jobs for them when they graduate. So basically that is kind of the academies of West Memphis and the AdTech model that we're working under today.
Thank you, Dr. Gunter. Whether you're talking about AdTech or just this innovative idea of bringing you together with the high schools to create a charter, or any of the other really neat things that you all have going, you're thinking beyond what's easy and figuring out what needs to really happen to put people to work. So thank you for being here with us today. With that, we're going to open it up for some questions from the floor. Right here.
What are the qualifications for a school district to be a conversion charter?
Very technical center.
Question for it.
She asked what were the qualifications to come into the technical part of the academies of West Memphis. 2.0 GPA.
I mean, it has to be a student and not the school district.
It is all high school students.
How do a school district get a conversion charter school like that?
Oh, okay. Well, there's an application to the state, to this Department of Education. They have to fill out and then present, and then the
State Board
of Education awards that grant to them. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Good question. Yes, sir.
Do you have the funding for the academic academy? How long do you have that funding for?
Well, the Secondary Technical Center funding comes from two different pots of money, which is state-funded money. There's a $20 million pot that is what they call vocational training money, and there's a $20 million pot that's secondary technical ed money. And that's all based upon the FTEs of the time that those students spend on our campus receiving that career training. So it's perpetual, but I can tell you the $20 million is not enough. It is not nowhere near enough. What Sandra was just telling me a while ago when she was here is that as we add more programs and as we add more students, the pieces of the pie get smaller and smaller.
That's statewide.
Statewide, yeah. So everyone, as we grow in West Memphis, if other programs don't decrease, then that won't be offset. So everyone's piece of the pie will get smaller as certain areas start to grow.
Any other questions? Right here.
Your instructors, are they actually professors, or do you have some that are from the industry, or are they kind of mixed?
Well, I would say all of our technical instructors are from the industry. None of them are trained instructors. They all are permitted to the state through a permit process that the state has in place to allow them to teach high school students. They all go through a criminal background check and a child maltreatment check. And then we send transcripts in to prove they have minimum 4 years of industry experience, and then they're permitted to teach that program area in the high school.
Some folks who just happen to know what they're doing.
They are experts in the field.
I was just curious as far as for the concurrent college credits.
Well, these individuals are hired as college instructors. I mean, their names are different from different colleges. We don't call them professors, and they're just instructors on our campus. Yeah.
Question? Yes, ma'am.
Proximity between your three campuses from the Westminster High School and yours, and then do the students, they spend a portion of their day in high school and then they spend a portion of their day?
Yeah, West Memphis High School is less than a mile away from our campus.
Same street.
Same street. And they spend approximately an hour and a half on our campus for that technical training. This year we have actually three different blocks. There's an 8 to 9:30, a 10 to 11:30, and a 12:50 to whatever that ends coming out. Marion High School, which participates with us, is probably 5 miles from our campus, and then others are further out.
So is it being done by distance learning?
None of what we do is by distance learning at this point. They all come on campus. Now, through the academies of West Memphis, the true academy model, in developing those small learning communities, actually partners the technical faculty with the academic faculty. And so as we progress through the academy model, I foresee some of the West Memphis teachers coming to the community college campus and teaching their high school students on our campus, so that we will grow from an hour and a half program to a half a day program to a longer program as we make that transition of bringing some of their instructors to our campus, so that the students in a particular program of study will have instruction as cross-curricular, have common planning time, so that the diesel program instructor can talk to the English and math teacher about different concepts that they're teaching in diesel, and they can study and teach some of the same concepts in English, math, and science type of thing. It also works the other way. You know, Mid-South does not have a fine arts program. We don't have an auditorium. West Memphis High School has a beautiful fine arts facility and a fine arts program. So we could see having the Mid-South program, if we offered one in fine arts, all being taught on the West Memphis High School campus. So it works both ways.
Good relationship.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Or don't forget Ted and Deborah are still with us as well. Any questions for anyone? Well, thank you all to our panelists for this discussion, and hopefully you've gathered a lot from it, something that you'll take back and implement in your various fields and in your various communities. I want to wrap up my comments with this. Today, since I've been here, I've actually received 2 calls from individuals. One's from a mother wife, whose husband died this week. He went to high school with me, and he worked 3 jobs, and and he had some health problems, obviously, and he passed away. She called me since I've been here, saying she wanted her son to now go to college. He wasn't going to make him go to college. She just figured he'd work hard like his dad did, and trying to find an opportunity. And Shane just happened to have been here, so we got the ball rolling on that. And another young man who's a year or 2 younger than I am, he spent time in the military and in the workforce. He called this morning saying, I need to go to college. He never went to college. He said, I just can't make it. When you think about what we're doing here, the topics that we've discussed here, that's our work world. I mean, if we're thinking about it as just kids who graduate from high school, we're going to miss a lot of folks. But if you get guys like the second guy, Tony is his name, who actually has tried it, and he's a hardworking guy, but he needs something, some sort of certification or some sort of further education in order to compete for today's jobs. And I think I'm confident today, based on some of the conversations that I've heard from these industry professionals and academians here today, that we're on track to at least addressing, and we're in some cases doing a real good job of working with people from both sectors, those graduating from high school as well as those who've been in the workforce and trying to find other opportunities. Thank you all for your attention today, and I hope you have a good evening. And with that, I'm going to ask Chairman Massengill if he'll come up for what I think are the final remarks.
Thank you all very much. You guys are champions. I hope you all found this to be very informative. I know that we did. This is number 3 now, and we continue to take big pieces away every time that we do this. And one of the deliverables that we had with these convenings was to make sure that you knew about the resources that we're putting on the table through the Delta Regional Authority, to engage in capacity building at the local level around the stuff that you heard today, around developing a plan in your local communities, in your community colleges or to your institutions or your technical institutions or the planning and development districts that want to coordinate the certified work-ready community concept, which we firmly believe in. We have $1.7 million on the table for states, local communities, organizations to apply to do this capacity building planning to help you get connected with the certified work-ready communities, or to increase your career readiness certificates as a part of your strategy, or to better align and connect with your local workforce development system, or to bring your institutions together. We want to help you do that. We've put that resources on the table. You can apply through your development districts, DRA.gov to find the one closest next to you. Please come after these resources. We want to help move the needle on this issue. Thank you for hanging tough. Let me say thank you again to UAPB for their partnership and being a host convener. Our strategic partners, Institute of Economic Advancement, excuse me, at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, Department of Workforce Services, Arkansas Economic Development Commission, and of course, Arkansas Career and Technical Education. Dr. Gunner, thank you very much. And our panelist, Steve Jones, Governor Beebe's designated alternate to the Board of Governors for the Delta Regional Authority. Thank you all very much. God bless you, and safe travels back home.